Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Another beautiful fall morning at the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. Welcome. And we're going to get started with a couple of songs. If you'd like to stand, please do. If not, that's fine. And let's just make a joyful noise.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Oh, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Oh, pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour much love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Sing your joy in me. Sing your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, sing your joy in me. Sing your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Oh, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside myself, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. I love the world the way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. So till the birth of peace on earth that only love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. But change outside can only come when deep inside I know I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love myself just the way I am.
Beautiful. I love that song. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And welcome, everybody. Good morning. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader here at the center. I'd like to welcome you to our center where our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. And if you're visiting for the first time, please know that we have a packet of information at both doors that you're welcome to take. It has a certificate to the bookstore in it. So pick one up, and you can also fill out the form and get on our email list. And so if any of you are not getting our weekly email newsletter, please fill out one of those forms as well, and then we can get you on the list. We are still collecting luggage, and we're grateful for all that has already come through for foster kids and coats that we'll be giving away for free. So you can bring those to the center. And then as you can see, we've started collecting for our yard sale, which will be the last Saturday. It's coming up next Saturday. And we are in the process now where we need to sort and start to price. Janice Wave. Janice is spearheading this whole thing. If you can come in this week, somewhere between 11 and 2, she would love help with sorting and pricing and getting things ready for Saturday. And then Friday, I'll be here early, like at 8. We'll be working all day to get things set up. And then Saturday, of course, it starts at 8. So if people can get here early and help us get the table set up outside, we would be grateful for that as well. So anything you can do. And if setting up and doing that sort of thing isn't something you can do, but you could bring food for the workers on Saturday, we would love that. So if you can bring breakfast or lunch, let me know, because last time we had some pretty hungry workers. We didn't even get a chance to take a break. So that would help us as another way that you could be a part of the yard sale. The large hutch in the back, you might notice it's empty. That is also for sale. We've put that out on Craigslist and on the Las Cruces community sale, whatever they call that. So if you know of anybody who would like it, or if one of you has gotten attached to it, let us know. We have that for sale as well. And we would like to see that move because we're going to set up all of this in the back at some point. So that needs to go. It's heavy. It comes apart into 2 pieces, but it is a lovely piece of furniture. So put the word out there. And the Sunday after the treasure sale, we have a joint service with Unity, and we will have what I call a guest speaker who none of us have ever seen before, including myself, Dina Efferson. She also sings, and she will be providing the special music, the talk for the morning, and then a workshop following the service. So bring a sack lunch or something to eat or share with others, and we will have a half hour in there to eat and then move into a workshop with her. What time does the service start? 11, yeah. The Unity is very happy to sleep in and join us at 11. So yes, we'll do the 11 o'clock service, and then the workshop should start around 12:30. So you got a half hour in between there. Thank you. And then we also want to just let everybody know we finally have someone who's going to take care of that floor for us out there. So Friday, November 4th from 8 to 5, the social hall will be closed for maintenance of our floor. Hallelujah, and thank you, Bob, for finding us someone to do that. We've been needing that since we put it in 7 years ago. So I'm very excited. And so now would you please welcome our practitioner in service.
Multiple hats today. My name is Bob. I'm a practitioner here at I still say that after all those years at CSL Las Cruces, and it's my honor to be here and to serve you today. We believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. Please fill out prayer requests, which can be found on the back of the chairs, and you can place it in the prayer chest, which is in the back there. If you're in need of a little prayer and treatment, we'd be happy to help you with that. The 4 New Thoughts centers here, and it's pretty amazing for a small town like this. We have 4 New Thought centers in this little town, which says something. And members from each of those centers, we get together on Tuesday on Zoom, and we pray with you for anything that you're in need of. So please feel free to use that service. And we also love hearing results of prayer treatment. So every now and then we get a little feedback on that, and it's also always great to know what Spirit is doing. So, if you need a prayer today after service, just I don't know, I guess I'm it. Just find me after service, give me a minute to shut some stuff off, and I'll be glad to be there with you. And at this time, it's time for song, silence, and prayer.
Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is, God is all there is.
So I just open and embrace that one truth, that God is all there is, and that God is right here, right now, always present in all ways, that each one of us is connected to that source at all times. And I know in that communion with Spirit that divinity happens and divine right action unfolds. So grateful for this opportunity to be here today. So grateful that each and every one of you is here to share in this celebration. So I just know that everything that unfolds for the rest of the day is divinely guided and blessed. I go forth with that complete confidence in knowing. I send my thoughts and comforts to anyone who's in need of it, knowing that right here, right now, anything is possible in Spirit. I just simply release those words and say, and so it is. All right, so today I have a reading from our Science of Mind textbook in the chapter Physical Perfection under Supply. It says, God is spirit, spirit is substance, and substance is supply. This is the keynote to a realization of the more abundant life, to the demonstration of success in financial matters. It is right that we should be successful, for otherwise the spirit is not expressed. The divine cannot lack for anything, and we should not lack for anything that makes life worthwhile here on earth. Everything that we do should be a success, and we should be led to do those things which are constructive and worthwhile. To bring a realization of the presence of the Spirit into all our acts, to prove that God is all, even in the slightest of things which we undertake. Nothing is great and nothing is small to the divine. So we should never wonder if what we are going to do will be hard or easy. God knows no hard and no easy. And so it is.
Okay, band. Okay, so finances is the theme of the month, and we decided we had to have a little bit of fun. So if this upsets anybody, just you can explore why it does.
See a practitioner after.
Yes, Bob, there will be a long line.
Electric guitar.
Woohoo!
Oh, wow.
Must be a celebration.
Everybody's excited. Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. Just give me money.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Your love gives me such a thrill, but your love won't pay my bills. Me money.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
You know what? Money don't give everything. That's true. But what it don't give, I can't use. Just give me money.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Money.
That's what I want.
Lots of money.
That's what I want.
A lot of money.
That's what I want.
Lots of money.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Okay. Thank you. A little bit of humor goes a long way. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to our new band that keeps getting better and better every time we hear them. Thank you. I already told you who I am, so I'm going to start off changing the mood just a wee bit. That's all right. That's all good. With a poem written by Kabir. And let's see here. 213. Sorry, I had it marked. There we go. Okay. Kabir is someone who lived back in the 1440 to 1518, a long time ago in India. And so this poem I thought was a good way to start off our morning. We're talking about, as Sarah said, finances, and it goes a long ways. So what kind of God would it be if it didn't hear the bangles ring on an ant's wrist as they move the earth in their sweet dance? And what kind of God would it be if a leaf's prayer was not as precious to creation as the prayer its own son sang from the glorious depths of his soul for us? And what kind of God would it be if the vote of millions in this world could sway it to change the divine law of love that speaks so clearly with compassion's elegant tongue, saying, eternally saying, all are forgiven. Moreover, dears, no one has ever been guilty. Yeah. What kind of God would it be if it did not count the blinks of your eyes and is in absolute awe of their movement? What a God we have. Yeah. So, since we've been talking about finances, everyone who has spoken this month has brought in this idea that everything is God expressing and everything has value. Even an ant and the leaves and the blinks of our eyes. And that we focus on not just the finances being money that we got to hear about, but every aspect of our greater good, that all is part of what we would call abundance. All the different ways that God expresses in the world around us and through us. We talked about swimming in that infinite ocean of all possibility, all potentiality, all supply, and all good. But since this month's topic is finances, usually we think about that as being money. And some of you might feel, well, God isn't paying attention to my eyes blinking. Maybe you feel that you've been forgotten, or maybe you just have a fact in your life that says, hey, I only have this much to spend this month, or I can't spend anything more this month. Why can't you religious scientists see the facts? So how do we handle those kind of facts, those things that we might call negative facts that show up in our lives? Reverend Jesse Jennings wrote a new book called More Than We Seem. And in here, he answers questions that people sent into the Science of Mind magazine. You know, he has articles in there, and he answers questions every month. And this one, I thought, helped us to understand the answer to what do we do with these negative facts. The question that was asked of him is, new thought seems to set the bar awfully high. Like, can't I ever have a negative thought? And he says, sure you can. And all of us do. The thing is, then, to follow it with something else. So let's define negativity first off. It isn't necessarily, this won't work, because maybe it won't. And that's a perfectly valid observation. It's more like, this is hopeless. Or moreover, I'm hopeless. See the difference? So do you see the difference between saying this won't work versus it's hopeless or I'm hopeless? You could say, it's likely to rain today on our picnic. Means that we've checked the weather and rain happens. The whole day is ruined is extrapolating a rained-on picnic to utter desolation. Negative thoughts are meaningful and invite triage when they string together into whole negative explanatory styles, where the half-filled glass becomes the half-empty glass, becomes the glass that will break and cut you, and so avoid glass, avoid people, avoid life. Yeah, the spiral that we can take ourselves on when we notice a so-called negative fact. He says we can interrupt our negative internal narrative before it has a chance to spiral down toward oblivion. And further on, he quotes Ernest Holmes, who said, what we demonstrate today, tomorrow, and the next day is not as important as the tendency with which our thought is taking, the dominant attitude of our mind. If every day things are a little better, a little happier, a little more harmonious, a little more health-giving and joyous, if each day we are expressing more life, we are going in the right direction. And so when we look at facts, and we see some that we might consider negative or have a negative impact on us, in other words, we don't like what we see, we get to think about how to handle that and what we can do to not allow it to take us down that rabbit hole. And so last week, I always want to call her Reverend Peggy. She's not quite there, although she probably could be with all the years of study. Peggy's a practitioner who spoke to us last week. And she gave us a tool for how to handle those issues that we would maybe call negative facts. And so instead of looking down and commiserating and rolling them over, she talked about looking up, 45 degrees up, just up a bit while you think about that issue, and see what else comes to mind. See how it broadens your perspective around that issue. And when she talked about that, and when I started using that tool this week, it reminded me of another bank account that I've heard about. So we talk about finances, we usually think about our monetary bank account. But a bank account that I heard about years ago when I was in Albuquerque was one mentioned by Greg Bear, who did a workshop called Real Love. And this bank account is your emotional bank account. And in here he said, the effect of real love is like money in the bank. Imagine that you are down to your last $2 and you're hungry. You put the money on the table, you get ready to go out and buy some bread. Suddenly, I dash into the room and I snatch those $2 off the table and I run away before you can stop me. How do you feel? He says, most likely you get angry. You're upset. He said, now imagine I do exactly the same thing. I steal $2 off your table as you get ready to go out and buy bread. But this time, you have $20 million in the bank. How do you feel? It shifts. The loss of $2 matters very little when you have $20 million, and it's not your last two. He says that is how it feels to have real love. It's like having $20 million all the time. And then, when people are inconsiderate, when they fail to do what we want, and even when they attack us, they're only taking $2, which we can easily afford to lose. When we feel unconditionally loved, everything else becomes relatively insignificant. People don't make us angry anymore. Heavy traffic, for example, becomes a tiny nuisance, not something that makes us angry and unhappy as it once did. When people speak badly of us, we're not threatened. We understand that they're simply afraid and protecting themselves. The wounds of the past begin to heal and no longer cast their terrible shadow over everything we do in the present. And so his premise is, because he's still out there doing this work, that if we fill up emotionally, if we get our emotional bank account up to $2 million worth and they're feeling unconditionally loved, we're not as impacted by those little things that happen throughout our day and throughout our life. And so the question becomes, how do we fill that bank account? And we talk about all kinds of different ways, whether you're doing it on your own with journaling and talking yourself to a higher place, looking up, as Peggy talked about, reading, prayer. I always encourage you to work with a practitioner. Practitioners are trained to love you unconditionally, to help fill you up with that love that we know is already present, help you recognize it within yourself. Greg Bear has started real love groups all around the country. You could see if there's one close by or one online. And those groups are where they've trained people on how to listen and fill each other up so that when the day-to-day things happen, they feel full. $2 million worth of emotional support and love in their emotional bank account. So it helps people then to remember where to put the focus. Instead of on the half empty, we're focusing on the half full. And when we shift that focus, we also can shift it through being grateful for what it is that we have in that half full portion of the glass. And so the last time I spoke, I talked about money having a different impact when we look at it as something that helps us have exchanges with other people. That's part of what I was sharing, was a different way of looking at money for me. And so I found a different way of looking at gratitude. This is out of the Spirituality and Health magazine from this month, September, October. And the person that wrote this article is the same person who wrote the book on the morning mandalas that you go out in nature and make. I shared pictures from that in one of my past talks. His name is Day, and I cannot say his last name. Anyway, this is what he says about gratitude. Gratitude is a trending word these days, and as it gains in popularity, it seems to diminish in value and meaning, like a child who quickly says thank you before eating. But gratitude isn't just courtesy, it's courtship. Now that's what struck me. Gratitude isn't just courtesy, it's courtship. It's a way of drawing closer by giving, not by taking. Gratitude refuses more because at the heart of it, it's like a full cup that spills over saying, this is enough for now. Offering genuine gratitude comes from a willingness to take account for all that you have been given and to understand that none of it was guaranteed. Through that lens, gratitude becomes a kind of praise that remembers and includes impermanence in a way and as a way to renew your relationship with all of life. So when I read that and I thought about it, I started thinking, who are we courting? When we're giving gratitude for something, who are we courting with that? What a concept that was for me. And 2 weeks ago, Reverend Bram said that when he has an issue at work and he starts to worry about money, his son would remind him of his truth by saying, "Who's your business partner, Dad?" And so when I thought about that, I started thinking in terms of all these different accounts that we have. And I thought, well, not only who's my business partner, but who's my ultimate partner in life? Who do I have my primary relationship with? Who am I courting with my gratitude? And then I thought, who is the joint holder on all of my accounts? And when I started thinking about that and realized that God is my life partner, God is that main partner that is with me constantly, that I have that primary relationship with, and God is the joint holder on all my accounts. My money account, as well as my emotional and spiritual accounts. In realizing that, I realized I'm not alone while I'm handling all these accounts. God, then, is the co-signer on all my accounts. And as I thought about that, I realized I am also on all of God's accounts, which means all those accounts are abundantly overflowing with good. And so when I remember to get God's signature on any account that I tend to want to withdraw from, I'm essentially getting that seal of approval. I'm getting that second signature, whether I'm spending my money or spending something from my emotional account or my spiritual coin. It's where my energy is flowing to, and I'm consciously getting a second signature from God as my co-signer. That means I'm going within. I'm aligning with what I consider God qualities and what is the truth of my being. So again, Ernest Holmes, he reminds us to do this. One should analyze himself saying, do I look at myself from the standpoint of restriction? Do I see life limited to the eternal round of getting up in the morning, eating, going to work, coming home, going to bed, sleeping, getting up again, and so on? He says, break the bonds of apparent necessity and see life as one continuous expression of the infinite self. And as this continuous expression of the infinite self, as its conception gradually dawns upon the inner thought, something will happen in the outer conditions to relieve the greater demands of necessity. I know, it's a big sentence. Free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is better because of your misery, or that righteousness is more perfectly expressed through poverty than abundance. He says, free yourself from those ideas. Know that the greater abundance of every good thing which you are bringing out in your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. Anything you can dream of is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. So what are the lenses that we're looking at the world through? And are we remembering who our cosigner is? When I remember that, when I think about that being part of the great abundant supply, that big bank account, so to speak, I call that giving God a good time. And I've shared with you that that's my life purpose. That's the bottom line that I've come down to as to why I'm here, to give God a good time through me. And to give God the best time ever through me, I need to go within and consult and connect with the God in me and make sure we're both signing off on any account that I'm making a withdrawal from. And so I want to make sure my spending is in alignment with what I consider God qualities. So let's just back up for a moment. Think about your life goals. Think about when you make a withdrawal from any one of those accounts, is what you're withdrawing and spending your energy on giving life to the world? Is it life-sustaining? Is it life-giving? Is it in support of love and harmony and peace, assuming that those are goals that you have for your life? Are you looking at your withdrawal through the eyes of restriction, or are you looking at spending this energy from this account in alignment with God, seeing God as that cosigner, approving, so to speak, of what it is that you're doing? Now, I know as I'm talking about this, it sounds like there's God and me, and I'm talking about duality. And we don't teach duality. But I want you to think about the metaphor that I'm using. Have you ever spent anything from any one of your accounts and felt like you've done something, whether it's physically or emotionally, where you've kind of cheated on yourself? Or maybe you haven't done it in total alignment with what you believe to be the truth of who you are? Have you ever felt that inner betrayal when you've spent some emotional energy or spiritual energy, even physical energy? Have you felt like maybe you've stolen something that isn't yours? That you've acted out of alignment with what you know that God is in your life? Okay, you can stop. Yeah. Have you been trying to cash in without God's signature, without love's approval, without peace of mind being present? Think about that. When you think about it that way, it's not two signatures, but it's bringing those two things together and making sure that every expenditure is in alignment. And you can think of it as God as your cosigner. Yeah, all right, Pat. I'll stop. Because when you cheat on God, essentially, you're cheating on yourself. When you're cheating on yourself, it's all one. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we require two signatures on every transaction where money's involved. And we keep those two signatures as a way to stay in alignment with our goals and to protect everyone concerned. And so imagine setting up a similar system in your own bank accounts, and every one of them, so that you stay in alignment with what it is your good is and how you want to spend your money and your energy. And then, as I thought about the spending aspect, I realized that it's also both of us who are responsible for filling those accounts. That together, as one, God and I, Spirit in me, are responsible for filling every one of those bank accounts. My part is the expected income, the intentions that I've set up, the planned income that I'm aware of. God's part is the unexpected income. We often talk about unexpected income when we teach tithing, and we talk about, finding a quarter in the parking lot or maybe $1 that somebody has dropped, or someone takes you to lunch. There's all different ways that you get unexpected income that shows up in your life. Well, unexpected income shows up in your emotional bank account as well. And it shows up in our spiritual bank account. I've also been reading, can't move too far from the mic. I shared a little bit from this before, Anchored, How to Befriend Your Nervous System Using Polyvagal Theory. And I shared this a long time ago because I am still working my way through this. But one of the things she talks about in here is the ventral vagal energy, which is the part of your nervous system where you feel safe, where you feel positive and that you're going to survive. As you work on moving yourself into that area of your awareness and your thinking and you practice, one of the things she suggests doing is looking for glimmers, she calls it. Glimmers throughout the day. And as you find glimmers, it's those things that are unexpected that show up. Maybe you notice a bird singing and it just thrills your soul. Or you see the sunset, like last night's sunset was incredible here in Las Cruces. And you feel that, you move into that place where you feel safe and secure. And those are little glimmers that you can practice recognizing, just like you look for unexpected income in terms of coinage or dollars, you look for unexpected income in terms of the spiritual and emotional ways that you get these glimmers that will fill up that bank account. That's God's part and what God's doing to help keep your accounts full. And then part of any account owning in my mind is that flow of giving and receiving. And knowing that I am one who wants to give back 10% of anything that comes in. And as we heard in, I believe it was the reading or one of the songs this morning, in God there is no big or small. So even though we talk about 10% of all that comes in, the important thing in my mind is you keep the flow going. And no matter how big or small, when you're able to give, it moves you into a different place. You get to experience the joy of giving. And a friend of mine posted something on Facebook. And this is a person named Kelly Thomas, who's Kay's new life partner. And she posted this on Facebook, and I had to share it with you. I got her permission. She says, gratitude. As I went to the little store this morning before work, grateful I had work to go to, on my mind is everyday stress. Just in past few weeks, I have been saying, Uncle. Property was struck by lightning again. Refrigerator goes out. Grateful for friends that lend coolers and a mini fridge. The next week, AC goes out and it's 90 degrees inside. Grateful for friends that come to the rescue with a window AC. The continued stress of my sister, the battle within her of not wanting to be in a facility, and the battle of myself wanting her to be happy in her last years. The struggles of paying for what she needs and the fight with programs to give her what they should. We tend to get wrapped up in our everyday struggles. What prompted this? Back to the store. There was a young mother in her 20s with her child. On the counter was juice and snacks. I assumed for school, a stop on the way, the young woman used her bank card for the $4.21 purchase. The gentleman behind the counter said, there isn't enough. You owe $1.20. Confused, she said, I'll go gather it from my car. Of course, I reached over with $2 and paid. She was grateful and thanked me. As I went to my car, I noticed her and her car. The plates were from Georgia. I arrived at work and thought of the young woman struggling to buy juice for her kid. I thought of a conversation I had earlier that day. I had a roof over my head, air, shower, a little fridge, even though I had to go out almost every day to get food to fill it. I sometimes struggle with the balance of necessity. On this day, I'm grateful I could buy juice. And what I realized from that story, $1.20 changed the course of her thinking and changed this woman's day and her experience. It doesn't take large sums of giving to move into gratitude and to make a difference in people's lives. I loved that story because it was a simple $1.20. And it made a huge, huge, huge difference. So as you think about living everyday wonder, and the focus being on finances, consider all of your bank accounts and how they get filled and how you spend. And as Reverend Bram suggested, imagine God or Spirit, life, your higher self, as your business partner And then consider also the same as your main significant other, as that co-signer on your bank accounts, all of them. And so as I thought about that, one of the things I noticed, I got this book, Love Poems from God, which I started with many years ago. And when I first read it, I was amazed at how people would talk about God as their beloved. And they had this sense of love relationship with God. And I thought, wow, what would it be like to feel that? Because the place that I look at God usually is, I talk about it as an energy. So it'd be kind of like writing a love poem to electricity. I see it moving in my life. I see how it works. But I hadn't personified it as the beloved. But after putting this together and getting this far in my talk, I started to think about, if I'm seeing God as my co-signer, as my significant other, I can start to make the leap into that feeling of connection with the beloved. And so again, I want to share some of the writings from in here. And this time it's Meister Eckhart. And we talked about Meister Eckhart in our class here this week because this is one of the people that Ernest Holmes studied and refers to as well. So I'm going to read 3 different poems from here. Each one takes us a little more into humor, but I thought it was significant to think about, again, God's Spirit love as the beloved. How long can a moth flirt near the mouth of a flame before their lips touch and the moth's soul becomes like a sun? And does the moth then die? No. In serving God, one is transformed into God. What lovers would return to us? What lovers would not unite beyond belief and annihilate their separation forever if they had the power to do so? That power our Lord has. How long do you think you can just flirt with God before you dissolve into ecstasy? Existence spins on God's potter's wheel. All is being shaped into the divine. What lovers would not want to die embraced? The second one. I could not bear to touch God with my own hand when he came within my reach, but he wanted me to hold him. How God solved my blessed agony, who can understand? He turned my body into his. And finally, if God let go of my hand, I would weep so loudly, I would petition with all my might, I would cause so much trouble that I bet God would come to its senses and never do that again. So, yeah, isn't that great? Imagine that ability to see God in our lives as our beloved, as our life partner, as the co-signer on all our accounts. All of my accounts are full to overflowing. They're vast and limitless when I know that's the truth. And each withdrawal is co-signed by God, is in alignment with what I know God to be in my life. And daily I receive glimmers and unexpected income that come into all of my accounts. And with deep gratitude for all that I have, I'm courting my beloved. Again, as I remember that God is the co-signer on all my accounts. And so it is. So let's just take those thoughts and go within. It's a lot. Just go within and see if you can connect into that beloved, the God of love and life that is deep within you. And breathe into that. Imagine the embrace of the beloved, love itself. And as you open your heart and mind to allowing that energy, that love, to be your co-signer on every expenditure that you make, imagine how that feels, knowing that you are in full alignment with your good, and that you have at your fingertips access to all the abundance in the universe. And so as we settle into these ideas, these thoughts, I know that they plant a seed that percolates throughout the week, that we each feel more uplifted, knowing that we are one with the one, seeing ourselves going within and seeking that second signature on everything that we do. I'm so grateful for this awareness in my life, and I'm grateful for all of the different writers and people that inspired these thoughts. I know that it is God moving in and through me, and I know that these words land exactly where they need to today. And so again, in gratitude, we just say together, and so it is.
All right, this one's a little more traditional New Thought, so you can relax. This is called I Claim a Blessing, and it's by Claudia Carawan.
Morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift up my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. This is how I start the day, knowing good is on the way. I am claiming perfect health, love and laughter, friends and wealth. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift up my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. With conviction undeterred, power of the spoken word, take my life and redefine, break the shackles of my mind. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Ooh, before I even lift up my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I lift my thoughts to higher ground, knowing miracles are all around. Each day unfolds just as it should. When I'm focusing on the good, life is filled with opportunity. I wonder what good is coming to me. Yeah, I claim a blessing. I claim it. I claim a blessing. Ooh, I claim it. I claim a blessing. I claim it. Oh, I claim a blessing.
Beautiful. We'll be singing that. I claim a blessing. You can take that song home with you. So before I talk about the next aspect, which is where we think about giving back to the center, I do want to let you know that as we think about finances, our part is also the intellectual part. There's a lot of feeling that I talked about today, but there's being wise about our finances. And one of those things that's out there today, which I am sorry to say is out there, are scammers. And there's 3 of us in here that got hit by someone sending a text out in my name, asking for money on the phone. And fortunately, Bob and Doug both were able to realize that this didn't seem to fit. But I want you all to know, we don't ask for your money over text, and we never will. And we probably won't even do it over email. So even if it tugs at your heartstrings like this did, it said I was trying to help a woman with cancer and needed money like right now, you call me on the phone number you know that I have, which is what he did, because they gave a different phone number to send the money to. And make sure, is this for real? I will ask you person to person. You will hear my voice. You can ask me questions and make sure it's really me and I won't be offended. And apparently this is happening to other ministers and rabbis, because when I posted on Facebook, a friend of mine who had it happen to her rabbi, they were asking on behalf of the rabbi. So just be aware, whenever you get a request for money, check it out. Make sure this is for real. They play on your senses, your sensibility. We all want to give, we all want to be loving, but we also want to be smart. And we want to make sure that this is a divinely guided, genuine gift and not a scam. So I'm just letting you know that. Please spread the word. Let folks know. This isn't the first time I've heard of this happening. I've had 2 dear people that succumbed to it and sent thousands of dollars before they figured it out. So be smart, be wise. When we talk about money, we talk about it right here. You see my face. And we talk about it going to serve the center, and we just talk about 10% that's going out beyond here into the community. And Bob was going to let us know, how much do we have on the Burn the Note?
It's a little over 7,000 left.
A little over 7,000 left, which means we've cut it pretty close to in half.
Yeah.
So we're doing good. We're getting close to having this center outright. And we are also tithing 10% of all that comes in this month to Mesilla Valley Hospice. And Reverend Bonnie Allen Rice saw me last night, and she said, you didn't mention my name. She used to work for hospice. So I'm going to mention her name today and let you know that she also has put a lot of her time and energy. She was my mother's hospice chaplain when my mother was passing. So hospice is near and dear to our hearts, and we are grateful to be giving them 10% of all that comes in. And Karen just lost her brother this week, and he was being served by hospice. So yeah, there's a lot of heartfelt feelings in this room for hospice and what they did. So thank you so much. Please be wise and aware when it comes to where you're sending your money. And we're grateful when you give it to us. Thank you. Let's say our blessing together. Oh. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And let's sing, I am so blessed.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
So thank you again. I am blessed by your presence and those who are online. Hi to all of you. We are grateful for Bob and his service over here, making us available online, and to our musicians. We're thankful for everyone and everything that comes through this door. I'm feeling blessed. I hope you are. Let's stand and sing our closing song. Peace song.
Yeah.